So depression to me, it's a hard thing to describe. To me, it's kind of, I often describe it kind of just as this kind of cloud of darkness that's just hanging on you. You kind of, where it's everything kind of, you don't really see the kind of good things in life, and your kind of love for life goes, and everything just has this shard of darkness around it, and you kind of just lose all kind of motivation, and you fail to be able to see kind of the beautiful things in life, and everything you do see in life, it's the negative kind of aspect of it.
Anxiety for me is, it stops me from socialising like anyone else would. I worry constantly about what people think about me, or if I'm doing something wrong, or if I could be doing something better, or that I'm not helping someone enough. It's just, for me, it's constantly worrying.
Depression for me would be, despite all the positives in my life, my mind only being able to focus on negatives. Having a lot of good reasons to be happy, but never being able to experience them because something inside your head is telling you that you can't. Something inside your head is telling you to focus on the negatives rather than the positives. It's an ongoing battle, but it's one that's worth fighting.
When I was 14, I kind of not realised, but I've been dealing with problems for a long time.
To me, depression, it's kind of like, it feels like there's something holding you back, but you don't exactly know what it is. It's kind of, it's like you're struggling, but it's hard to pinpoint why or how.
The big thing and the hardest thing to understand is when you're at your worst and you're in the depths of despair, or you're really low, or you're feeling really anxious, you feel like you're the only one that could ever imagine what it feels like. And in ways it is true, because no one, no matter what we've all been through, and no matter how similar they are, no one can ever fill someone's shoes and know exactly what someone is going through. They can empathise to a certain degree, but they can never know exactly what someone's going through. And even though that is true, I do think it's still important that you have to realise that it is normal. The stats, the scientific evidence will tell you it's normal, that it's common, and it is a very commonplace thing.
I told myself, off, you're going to fail these exams, you're just going to make a show of yourself, and the whole family are going to be so embarrassed to call you part of the family. And I was telling this to my friend, and she was like, Kelty, that's not normal. You shouldn't be putting yourself under that. And I was like, I've been feeling like this for so long.
First off, it affects my sleep a lot, because I can lie awake in bed for hours on end just thinking about what I could have done better, or what I should have done right or wrong. It stops me from talking to new people a lot, because I'm worried about first impressions and how I might come off to people. Just anything, really.
So I thought, okay, well, if I'm gonna fail, I should punish myself because I'm being such a failure. So that's when I started self-harming in second year. And I told a friend who, instead of keeping it to herself like I kind of wanted her to, she done, looking back now, she done the right thing, and she went to a teacher and told her, and the teacher called my mum.
Depression affects me in a way that, while most people will want to go out and spend time with their friends on the weekends, some weekends it'll be like an overwhelming feeling that I shouldn't go out, that I shouldn't do anything, that I should just be at home, and that's what's best for me. And that the feeling of, you just get an overwhelming feeling of no self-worth. You feel like you shouldn't be here. It's quite sad. You don't want to go out to your friends. You don't want to do the normal things that you enjoy, because it feels like from the inside there's no point in it all.
A lot of the time, along with depression or anxiety or any other mental illness you might be going through, comes self-harm. Self-harm doesn't need to be cutting or burning. It can be anything. It can be pulling out your hair, not eating your breakfast in the morning, intentionally to hurt yourself. And from experience, it's just not the way to go. It gets worse and worse and worse until, unless you have support, it'll kill you. It does not get better unless you have support. And if you have any choice in the matter, don't start. Just think about what you do before you do it. It'll affect you for the rest of your life.
Depression for me it's very much an everyday struggle. Like, some days I'd get up in the morning and I really have to push myself. Like, is it a day, should I go to school? I need to push myself. Or sometimes you need to step back and be like, okay, I need a break from everything. And it's more about noticing it as well.
Anxiety to me is just this feeling in the pit of your stomach when you wake up in the morning. And for no apparent reason, you just feel like you can't face anything. And to me, it's more debilitating than even feeling low or depressed. Anxiety stops you doing things for whatever reason. It just feels like at any moment you could burst into this panic attack. It's like this thing that just takes hold of your body. And no matter what your brain tells your body to do, it just can't do it. And it turns things like getting out of bed into the most horrific, tough tasks that you could ever imagine.
Well, you don't really need to have a reason to be mentally ill, which a lot of people think. Whenever I tell people about what I'm struggling with, first question everyone asks is, so what caused it? There does not need to be a cause. Like, for me, it was just the way I developed. I was just so worried around friends, or I was so worried that some days I just didn't want to get out of bed, and that caused depression. I went through like 3 months of just not wanting to get out of my bed, and there was no cause, and there's just you don't need to have a reason to go get help at all. And that's what people think, and you just support, you know?
People should remember is how far it's come. It is normal, it's out there. It's just a part of growing up, it's a part of living. It's part of life. It's like any kind of disability or illness, it can happen. And I think that's the real big thing that we all have to try to do, is normalise it. Just make people realise, make people who are kind of going through things, make people who aren't going through things, just realise that it's a normal part of life. And it genuinely is. It is a normal enough thing to go through.
So my mum sat on a couch, crying her eyes out into a pillow, and she wouldn't look at me. And she just started questioning why I do it to myself, and how like everything's great, and I shouldn't have to hurt myself like that. A few times I'd say, you know, this has to end.
Don't be afraid. It's not as scary as it seems talking to someone. It's just using your words to express how you feel. It's not as daunting as it seems.
If I hadn't talked to someone or just opened up, no matter who it is, it doesn't necessarily have to be a counsellor. I never went to see a counsellor. I did a few sessions, didn't like it, stopped going, didn't tell anyone. What I always made sure I did was I talked to someone, be it my friends, lads, girls, my parents, someone. I talked to someone. And it's amazing just what opening up and talking about it can do. Don't be afraid to ever ask someone how they're feeling. We have a tendency as young males to not necessarily just not talk about it if we're feeling down, but also not address it if someone else is feeling down. And I think that's a really important one. If you can learn to talk to anyone, be it your parents, family, the lads, the girls, teachers aren't robots, they are people.
If you're suffering with anxiety or depression, don't hesitate to talk to someone. It's so awful to go through by yourself, and it's not worth it. You get through it quicker. It's easier if you talk to someone. It doesn't need to be your mom. It could be a friend, it could be a teacher. You could even go into a walk-in clinic and talk to a stranger. It does not matter as long as you try to do something.
I've been getting help since I was 9. My mum and dad put me into the child adolescents mental health services when I was 9 for anxiety because I was too straight out of school. At the time I didn't think much of it, and it's been such a big part of my life that I don't think much about it. It wasn't really a choice for me because I was a lot younger than most people who would start it. But then when 3rd year rolled around, I got really bad. I got very depressed, got very upset, and couldn't go into school. So I had to choose whether or not to get hospitalised or not. And that was a big question, whether or not I should institutionalise myself and get the help. I eventually decided I should, and it was an amazing decision that probably saved my life. A lot of people feel hopeless and like that there's no point in getting help, but no matter how bad you feel, no matter how much you feel that there is no help there, there's always help. There's small things from even expressing how you're feeling to a friend, family member, teacher, someone close to you, to even bigger things like approaching your GP, you know, maybe booking an appointment with a therapist, approaching Pieta House. There's a lot of ways to get help, and it always feels like an uphill battle, but it's one worth fighting, because at the end of the day, getting help, you may think that there is no point, but there's always a point. I've been hopeless many times. It even took me, I had to get hospitalised twice. But those experiences are what helped me get through everything and what are keeping me functioning and alive today. I felt like there was no hope. I felt like there was nothing I could do. But getting that help is what helped me get over my slump. You know, I just look back at that now as a really hard but really bad part of my life. And that all the help that I got combined together just makes me able to enjoy life and not focus on the bad side, and not just let the anxiety and depression take over, that I can go out and do stuff and actually live my life to the whole. And no matter how hopeless you feel, there's always help there available for you. Even if you just talk to your friend, little things like that can help take the weight off your shoulders, and it is so worth it in the end.
I went to the guidance counsellor in school, and I didn't really know what I had or what really I was going through at the time. I just kind of talked to her and explained to her like what I was feeling, and she showed me this place, Lucina Clinic, and I was very kind of unsteady about going, and I was very reluctant to go as well, because I didn't think there was I was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, I was just sad, or there's nothing wrong with me, I was just nervous. And like I'd sit there and I wouldn't talk to the person. I just refused, and I was afraid. Like I went to one person and I didn't find a connection. I thought, well, you know, I tried, it's not gonna work.
I wasn't willing to accept it, and therefore all these feelings and emotions that I had inside me just built up and built up and built up, to the point where I just snapped one day. And then I snapped, I broke down, and I said to my parents, look, I need help, and that was really how it came to it. I wanted to tell people and I wanted to get help, but I suppose I wasn't willing to accept it, and the only thing that ever forced me to get help was the fact that I just got to the end of my tether and I snapped.
I wouldn't have gotten help if my friend didn't tell anyone. I think the best thing is to confide in friends, first of all, because like I know counsellors, that's their job and they're trained and things, but your friends know you like personally, and they're the ones who helped me the most, because they tell me everything that was good about myself. And like a counsellor's not gonna know that you're brilliant at this, and how funny you are. They're not gonna know that, but your friends know everything that's great about you and the things that you should focus on.
For whatever reason, no one knows these things happen to people, depression, anxiety, and they are horrific things. But I always think the worst thing you can do is be angry at yourself for it, or blame yourself for it. As soon as you actually kind of say, right, I'm feeling this way, it's okay that I'm feeling this way, it's normal that I'm feeling this way, and that I'm okay with feeling this way, that always goes a long way in helping you move on a bit.
Well, first off, I didn't want to talk to anyone about it at all. I was kind of embarrassed. I just didn't think I should be feeling as down or worrying as much. And finally it kind of got to a point that I had to get help. And luckily I have my mum. My mum is amazing. I went to her at the end of first year and told her about the problems I was having, and she went out and looked for any type of help she possibly could have gotten for me.
Personally, for me, I felt I didn't want to. I was very, very reluctant to get help because I didn't think there was anything wrong with me, or I didn't think it was something that other people could help me with. And like friends noticed and they would try to talk to me, but I wouldn't. And I think it was one of my friends who made me go to the guidance counsellor, and I was very reluctant. I didn't think it was working, or I didn't think I needed any help. But once I went about doing it, once I went about getting help, I actually started to notice the difference in my mood.
Mental health should be more, like, people should be more aware of it, and you can't be going through on your own, because that's never going to work out. Like, it wasn't working out for me before I told someone, and when I did, everything really did kind of start to get better from there.
It's a long road, but at the end of the day, it will be worth it.
The day that you don't believe you can get better is the day that you won't get better. No matter how bad things are or how rough things get, which they will, you're going to hit these bumps. If you can hold on to a bit of hope and a bit of genuine belief that there are better days that will come if you just keep trying to do the right things, well, then it will come good. Like, we have feelings and emotions for a reason. We have to express them.